no, a fight with Cenk. Yes, that's a blog. Well, we did a video the other day on Eleanor Holmes Norton. Now, she is a congresswoman, and she had been caught basically putting a voicemail on a lobbyist answering machine begging for money, which we're going to play parts of for you in a little bit, so you'll get to see it for yourself. Now, we had done that and at the end of a different story on how the banks were purchasing different congresspeople. So we made its own segment. We put it up on YouTube. First of all, I should note that there's one good point that people on YouTube made and Cenk made as well, which is that I should have clarified in that video that the recording was from 2010. Okay, now it doesn't change the recording at all, and we never presented it as like, oh my God, it's fresh news. We presented it as, look, here's another example of, unfortunately, corruption that is systemic in the system. Well, Cenk didn't like that. They thought this is outrageous. They had this very snarky headline. Shocker, scandal, breaking, and whatnot. DC Rep Eleanor Holmes Norton asked someone for money in 2010. Like, oh, that's so snarky. Ha ha! There's nothing to see here. Oh, scandal, corruption. She's telling the lobbyists, you better donate to me. You better give me the money. Okay, do you know how important I am? Okay, I'm on a very important committee and I'm the chair of a subcommittee. But it's, no, look away, look away. No, no, no. Official and legalized corruption in DC is not a news story. How dare we cover it, right? And how dare Wolfpack as an organization care and try to fix it? What's wrong with you people? You're supposed to sit on your ass and blog instead. So here's what they wrote. We were pretty excited to listen to this audio recording of DC Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton being brazen and corrupt and asking for bribes from 2010, which we laughed at when Andrew Breitbart first breathlessly posted it, which the Young Turks just posted as news. Okay, so apparently Breitbart also put this video up back when he was alive. Like, I got you! Conservatives and liberals agree corruption is a bad thing, so obviously corruption must be a good thing. Okay, well, the government would love your attitude. Doesn't matter how many Americans agree that corruption is a disaster and it's become systemic, you should do nothing about it. It's not news. It's not news that Congress is corrupt. Shut up about it already. Shh. Okay. So, now here's my favorite line. They say, so, does anybody besides Cenk hear extortion here? All right, great. Well, let's listen in and let you make your own judgment. Now, here is a portion of that call that we played during that clip.
This is Eleanor Norton, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton. I noticed that you have given to other colleagues on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. I am a senior member, a 20-year veteran, and am chair of the Subcommittee on Economic Development, Public Buildings, and Emergency Management. I'm handling the largest economic development project in the United States. I was, frankly, surprised to see that we don't have a record, so far as I can tell, of your having given to me despite my long and deep work.
Where's my money? Look, this is how we do business in Washington. You're a lobbyist. If you are interested in my support, you give me the money and I give you that support. She can't even vote, but she is on those committees and she's an important person. She is powerful in Washington. If you want the support, give me the money. Whereas, of course, the rest of the media looks at that and goes, no, don't cover that. But that's normal. It's normal. Of course, a congresswoman calls begging for money or demanding money from lobbyists. That's how politics works. As if, like, that's a wonderful thing. All right, if that wasn't enough for you, here's more.
I'm simply candidly calling to ask for a contribution. As a senior member of the committee and a subcommittee chair, we have obligations to raise funds, and I think it must have been me who hasn't, frankly, done my homework to ask for a contribution earlier.
Does anybody but Cenk see extortion here? No, it's great. I love it when our congressmen say, just give me the money and I'll give whatever you want. Now, technically, she didn't say in that email, for that legalized bribe, I will do whatever you want. How crazy of me to draw that connection, because that would never happen in Washington. That's not what she was implying at all. Of course, why are they mad? Because Cenk is, I guess, progressive, right? And so they're like, Eleanor Holmes Norton, you can't attack her. She's a Democrat. She's from Washington, D.C. Now, look, you're picking on a woman here, African-American, from Washington, D.C. She doesn't even have the right to vote because of how Washington, D.C. has been mistreated. And you're right about all those things. It doesn't make that phone call any better. And what you're missing is, this is not a partisan issue. This isn't like, oh, the Republicans are corrupt, but the Democrats are lovely. Then we would have a fighting chance. No, both sides are corrupt because of the way we built the system. The Supreme Court says they can take unlimited money, so then in the end, the only thing that matters is the money, Lebowski. And you think I just picked her out? Obviously, you don't watch the show. That's all right. God bless your heart. You don't have an obligation. But you should know what we're about. We criticize all the different congressmen. In fact, in that video clip, I made it clear. Listen. Because it's standard operating procedure. It's not unusual. That's how Congress works now. You bribe me in a legal fashion, it's legalized bribery, and you get the votes that you want. They fail to see what the problem is. And the rest of our media has gone along with it, as if there's no issue at all. Now look, I love blogs, and so one of the great things about blogs is that they challenge the mainstream media in how they cover things. Now, how often do you see CNN or anybody else doing news stories on how much donations a congressman has taken or a senator has taken and how they have voted based on that? That is the most relevant news story because that determines how they vote almost all of the time. And we show it here on Young Turks all the time on both parties. Now, you would think that a blog would challenge that. Instead, they're like, oh, no, the media's doing a great job of ignoring this. Hush up already. So I got a little upset. I sent this tweet out. Didn't realize Wonkette lived up the ass of the establishment. Problem is legalized corruption, schmuck. Okay, all right, maybe schmuck's a little much. Up the ass, you could argue. Okay, so then they got very upset and they wrote another snarky, because they're great at snark, blog. And here's what they wrote there. Sure, we can get behind the basic idea and corporate personhood and publicly finance all elections in our country. That's the amendment that Wolfpack's in favor of. That would be nice. On the other hand, they're saying it should be pursued through a constitutional convention, which is more likely to end up getting us a brand new First Amendment guaranteeing the right to attend the Christian church of your choice. No. You see, you were right to sit on your couch the whole time and not try to help or fix the system at all. Cynics are awesome because they're never held accountable. If you never get up off your ass, well, then you could always pat yourself on the back. Oh, great job doing nothing today. Oh, we were so awesomely cynical and snarky today. Great job. No, the reality is, because Washington is so corrupt, there's no way in the world they're going to have 2/3 of both houses pushing for an amendment. You need to do it through a convention process, which you get through the states. Now, right-wing groups like the John Birch Society do the same thing as Wonkette does, which is really interesting. I know, because when we get into fights at the state level, those are the guys that we fight. They come out, the right wing does, the radical right wing, the guys who thought Eisenhower was a communist. They come out and they say, oh, no, don't do a convention. Then the people would be empowered to have amendments go into the Constitution. No. Washington has to rule everything. Don't empower the people. If you do, crazy progressive amendments will pass. And then the left wing says crazy right wing amendments will pass in the convention. Let me read to you Article 5 of the Constitution so you know how this thing works. Now, look, again, it's not Wonkette's job to know anything about conventions or amendments or campaign finance reform, but if you don't know anything, you might want to hush up. All right, let me educate you. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to the Constitution or on the application of the legislatures, 2/3 of the several states, shall a convention for proposing amendments, which in either case, and here's the relevant part. Now, that's the beginning part is what I just explained to you. You either do it through Congress or through the states through a convention. Shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of several states. Okay. So whatever amendment comes out of the convention, the Article 5 convention, it would have to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. Do you have any idea how impossible that is? The only thing we agree on in the country is that we're sick of the corruption. You're not going to get 3/4 of the states to give you any kind of massively progressive amendment. Keep it real. It would be lovely. I'm totally a progressive. I would love to do a lot of progressive amendments. We're not going to get them because we can't get 3/4 of the states to ratify. And how about like the massively right-wing amendments? Like they say, oh, Christian church will be established. That's it. It's going to be either the Lutherans or the Episcopalians. That's it. You're going to get 3/4 of the states to ratify that, California, New York, Vermont, etc. No, you're not. It's a scare tactic used by the extreme right and extreme left to make sure there's no change in the system whatsoever. The reality is the only people who have ever gotten us change are the ones who believed that we could get change. If Wonkette was around, God help us, thank God they weren't. If they were around during the suffragist movement, oh, women, they think they can get the right to vote. Oh, yeah, right. How are you going to get the right to vote? When you can't even vote in the first place. Ha ha, women, you'll never win. It's better to just sit and do a snarky blog about it. It turns out if people are really motivated and they care a lot, and you have a rare issue where the great majority of the country agrees, if you actually try to get change, you might do it. If you don't try for change, you're never, ever going to get it. And you could be really happy as a cynic, but you're going to live kind of a bitter life where you really get absolutely nothing accomplished. If you'd like to get something accomplished, go to wolf-pack.com, join the fight, and let's kick their asses and help fix the country.